From the Ministry of the Presidency in Georgetown, this is This Week with the President.
Welcome to another edition of This Week with the President, a weekly news magazine which provides you with an in-depth look at the policies, programs, and work of the President of Guyana in his quest to realize the good life for all Guyanese. I'm your host, Gomiti Gangadin. Thank you for joining us. In the highlights this week, President holds successful discussions with the University of Ghana's Student Society. President Granger reiterates calls for greater security cooperation in the region. Ghana to get new tongues and flags for every administrative region. If there is one thing that President David Granger has been consistent in advocating, it is access to education. He believes that education is the tool which can be used to reverse the cycle of poverty, develop communities, and transform regions into economic hubs. This can be clearly seen in the boats, buses, bicycles, breakfast, and books, or 5B's initiative, which is aimed at ensuring that every child is given the opportunity to get to school and stay in school. In keeping with this priority, the President met with the incoming and outgoing President and other executive members of the University of Ghana Students Society, the UGSS, and committed to addressing the ongoing concerns of students by the beginning of the new academic year. While acknowledging that not everything can be fixed by that time, the President committed to ensuring that work is advanced as far as possible. According to the President, the University of Ghana must produce graduates who are capable of pushing Ghana forward. It is his belief that the country will not be able to achieve growth and development if the tertiary institution cannot provide the critical skills which are needed. The head of state said in that meeting, and I quote, "I have emphasized the importance of science, and I would certainly like to see more scientists coming out of the university, more engineers to build our highways and bridges and roads in the hinterland, more biologists, more chemists, more botanists. This country cannot develop without an efficient University of Ghana, so that is my vision. My vision for the university is inseparable from my vision of the country. I will certainly work on this. I have already engaged the Chancellor and the Vice-Chancellor. I will work with the Ministry of Finance and the Ministry of Education to bring relief." End of quote. It was on this note that he therefore committed to ensuring that the concerns which have been raised, including the reduction of facility fees, lack of lecturers, lack of classroom furniture, inadequate security and sanitation, are addressed in a timely manner. The President said, and I quote, "By the time the next academic year starts, most of these problems will be dealt with. Of course, not completely, but we would like to have some of these problems rectified. So we will try to rectify these before next semester, and when the Minister of Finance is back in the country, I would like to engage him, and it will be in the presence of the Vice-Chancellor and the Chancellor, if he is still here, and the Minister of Education. This is a grave situation, and I would never try to sweep this under the carpet." End of quote. Joshua Griffith, the outgoing president of the UGSS, left the meeting with a sense of satisfaction. He said that the response and commitment given by the president brings comfort and satisfaction to the students, since change has been a long time in coming.
We got the general sense that the president was surprised at the realities on the ground, and he did commit to working to ensure resolutions in the near future for almost everything we brought to the fore. And so there's some sense that things are going to be different very soon.
The University of Ghana's Student Society has for years called for better conditions at the institution. In 2014, the facilities fees were raised from $19,000 to $50,000 with the promise that major upgrades will be undertaken at the Tain Berbice and Turkine campuses. Ghana's security and that of the Caribbean region has always been high on the agenda of the David Granger administration. Given the ongoing threats to Ghana's territory, President Granger has consistently called for measures to be put in place for the protection of small states and reiterated the importance of regional security to their development. In the light of this, the president on Saturday called for greater security cooperation in the Caribbean while delivering the feature address at a dinner hosted by the Institute of International Relations (IIR) of the University of the West Indies to celebrate its 50th anniversary. The president recently visited the HMS Mercy, a visiting British naval vessel, where he had noted that it is often difficult for small states to protect their territories without the help of international cooperation, and it is in this regard that greater relationships must be built. During his address at the dinner, the president again reiterated that the persistence of old security threats and the emergence of new ones suggest that the current arrangements for security cooperation in the Caribbean may not be sufficient to meet the needs of member states. He called for these arrangements to be evaluated and, if necessary, supplemented by additional systems and mechanisms in order to achieve the wider strategic objectives of the states. He called for new security designs to make the Caribbean safe, deter aggressors, combat illicit trafficking, and create a zone of peace in the Caribbean. The municipalities in Ghana are now well positioned to propel the development of the 10 administrative regions with the newly appointed mayors and their deputies. This is perhaps the most important outcome of recently concluded local government elections. President David Granger believes that empowerment is deeply linked to development, and it is in this belief that he has announced that every region will be administered by a tongue, while a proposal has been made for each of the regions to be characterized by a regional flag. Capital tongues, the president believes, will lead to economically stable regions, which will ultimately pave the way for the growth and development of the national economy. Already, discussions have begun for the towns to be named in regions 3, 4, and 5.
Yes, it is a matter I've raised with the Minister of Communities. As you know, paradoxically, there are 3 coastal regions which do not have capital towns. Region 3, that is the Essequibo Islands, West Demerara region. You have Region Hoop, not really much of a tongue. Then you have Region 4. Georgetown is not the capital of Region 4. Georgetown is the capital of the Republic. So there's a little compound at Triumph on the East Coast, which administers this huge, this important region. And then Region 5, you know, the Mahaica-Berbice region, and the capital is Fort Wellington. Fort Wellington is a compound, police station, magistrates court. But I'm looking, you're quite right, I'm looking to create 3 towns in these 3 coastal regions, so that every single region should have a capital town, and that capital town will have, its own airport, its own, its banks, its NIS offices, GRA offices. The idea is that people living in any region must be able to go to that capital town and transact all the business.
While it had been announced that Madia will become a town at the same time as Bartica, Lethem, and Mabaruma, the president explained that there are some logistical issues which resulted in the community not being able to become a town just yet. However, it is his commitment that it will happen this year.
It's a technical problem. Before a town could be declared or demarcated, you have to agree on the boundaries. So it is a legal and boundary matter. You can't just call Madia because nobody knows where Madia actually ends, the physical boundaries. And of course the other legal requirements which have to be complied with. But it will be done this year, 2016.
In the meantime, the president says that he sees strong economically stable regions which can boast of their individuality and characteristics. This, he says, can allow for regional flags which can help in the building of regional pride and by extension national pride. The proposal has already been made to the respective regional authorities.
We must develop regional pride. And this is what I've started to see coming out. People, we have already proposed to the regions regional flags. Actually, there's a design that every region must have its own flag. I see a region in Guyana like a state in America. People are proud of being Texan, they're proud of being Californian, they're proud of being New Yorkers. And I've detected in Guyana a great deal of local pride. People are proud of being Barticans. In fact, they get very upset when people call them Barticians. People are proud of coming from Mabaruma, what people used to call Northwest in colonial times. People are proud of being Borbicians.
The flags, he explained, must be able to represent the uniqueness of the regions, whether it be their flora, fauna, or a special feature, so that the residents can truly be inspired.
And also we're looking for them to propose to us symbols. As you know, Guyana has some of the richest fauna, some of the most luxuriant flora in the world. And I expect that you'll be seeing flags in due course with things like the harpy eagle or the kanji pheasant, you know. But you're quite right coming back with the question you asked. These are going to be sources of pride. I know some proposals have been made to the regions and we're waiting feedback. It is a consultative process.
Additionally, the president made it clear that the local government elections were all about the will of the people. To this end, he said that it is his expectation that the newly elected mayors, their deputies and their councillors will put all politics aside and focus on working with the regional, central and executive administration in addressing the needs of the people.
I'm aware that people come from different political parties. Some are independent, some belong to established parties. But they swore an oath to act without fear or favor, affection or ill will. And I think Guyana has a powerful opportunity now to move the country forward economically. I do not believe that if we maintain Mabaruma in its old state or let them in its old state, we can move ahead as quickly as we ought to. So it was really an appeal to the mayors, particularly the mayors of the 3 new towns and of course the existing capital towns, Linden, Georgetown, and New Amsterdam and Anna Regina, to put aside the political differences.
The new mayors and their deputies who have received the charge seem to be enthusiastic about carrying out the mandate which has been assigned to them by the president for the people of Guyana. For Gifford Marshall, the new and first mayor of Bartica, the task of making Bartica the first green town in Guyana and a leading example in the Caribbean is quite a task, but he and his team have already begun working around the clock, laying the foundation for that vision to become a reality.
We definitely have to start working on our infrastructure. If we're going to become Guyana's first green town, it definitely means we have some changes to do within this community. So we're looking at infrastructure in terms of roads, we're looking at our municipal airport, we're looking at that sewer of a waste disposal site that we have. We must get that situation fixed. And then the sensitization, residents must understand that we have to change our mindset when it comes to littering and so forth. So those are a package that we'll have to move forward with. And I can keep saying the one that is a burden to me is our young people, our teenagers especially, who don't have jobs. We definitely have to find jobs for our young people.
President Granger has always made known his belief that every region is an economic hub. Region 6, he believes, has even more potential than any other since it contains 3 towns and is bordered by Guyana's CARICOM sister Suriname to the east and is connected to regions 5, 8, 9 and 10 to the west. New Mayor of Karivaton, Mr. Ganesh Gangadin, too believes that the region is a dormant economic powerhouse and it is his vision to ensure that the sleeping giant is awakened.
Well, some of the immediate plans were we definitely have to tackle the issues of solid waste management. Our roads, some of them are in dying state of repair. We need urgent repair works there. There's also for long-term development, we're looking at expanding our facilities at the port. We provide good service to residents coming out, Oriala, the upper quarantine farmers and so forth. And we're looking to establish a wharf or a facility that can accommodate them more comfortably, and they can bring the produce and able to be to display it and sell them at better prices and so forth.
We will now take a look at the President's diary. On Wednesday, the president swore in the new members of the Advisory Council in the prerogative of mercy, with the charge that they must follow the spirit of compassion and mercy in the fulfillment of their responsibilities.
In Guyana, we need that quality of mercy. We need to transform our political culture from this dog-eat-dog mindset that some people seem to have adopted over the years. We need to be more compassionate, more merciful. And if you have a president who is not compassionate and who is not capable of extending mercy, what sort of country are we living in? What sort of country do we want our children to grow up in? So this simple ceremony is all about the type of country we want to live in, the type of relations we want to have with each other, compassionate and merciful relations.
The new members are Dr. Carl Hanneman, Justice Duke Pollard, Justice James Patterson, Ms. Merle Mendonza, and former Minister of Information, Ms. Yvonne Harewood Ben. On Thursday, the head of state met with representatives of the Hamilton Lashley Human Foundation, a non-governmental organization based in Barbados, who are currently on a preliminary visit to Ghana in preparation for the Caribbean Children's Charity Shield football tournament, which will be kicked off here from August 20th to 31st. This year, in commemoration of the 50th independence anniversary of both Ghana and Barbados, the organizers thought it was fitting for Ghana to be the host country. The tournament targets youths from at-risk communities. There is an under-14 division and an under-17 division. Later that day, President Granger met with residents of Belladrum West Coast Berbice, who discussed with him their plans to revive farming activities within the Profit Rising Sun Neighborhood Democratic Council district. The group was led by Mr. Leland Saul and included Chairman of the Profit Rising Sun NDC, Mr. Emil Wilson, and Chairman of the Belladrum Community Development Council, CDC, Mr. Julian David. The president also received a courtesy call from Executive Chairman of Reunion Manganese Incorporated, Mr. David Fennell, at the Ministry of the Presidency, who gave him an update on the company's operations at Matthews Ridge, Burima-Waini. As Ghana's Golden Jubilee celebration steadily approaches, Demerara Distillers Limited (DDL) on Monday added to the list of attractions a beverage guaranteed to get its customers the highest of spirits. DDL unveiled the Dorado 50th Anniversary Special Edition rum at a ceremony of imperial standards. Delivering the feature address at the event, President Granger said rum, including the world-renowned El Dorado brand, is an important part of Guyanese history, heritage, economy, and culture. As such, it must be preserved and protected, since it is a major contributor to the economy and foreign exchange earner. As May 26 draws near, the president said that Guyanese must now start to build a foundation for a stronger economy, which can ensure that for our 75th independence anniversary, greater achievements are celebrated.
We will inevitably look back at the past, but also we must look forward to the future. We must build the foundation for a stronger economy as we celebrate our country's 50th anniversary. DDL, I am assured, is looking forward to the future. The anniversary of our independence in 2041 must find us stronger as a nation. And we will become stronger because we pay greater attention to our industries. And the rum industry is one of them.
The president said that Ghana's Golden Jubilee celebrations present the Guyanese society with the ideal opportunity to rise above the issues that promote division and recommit to the task of nation building. DDL's master distiller, Mr. Sean Caleb, during his remarks said that the El Dorado 50th anniversary rum consists of the oldest rums that have been preserved at DDL.
Perhaps I should tell you that each bottle is individually numbered and is adorned by a specially commissioned 50th anniversary gold medallion that was crafted by Guyanese jewelers in 18-karat premium Guyanese gold, a tribute to our nation's rich mining heritage.
But many question whether the rum composed in this majestic decanter is really 50 years old. Mr. Caleb explained that the rum is a special blend of spirits, 2/3 of which comes from barrels, distilled on the Port Morant double wooden pot still in 1966. The wooden pot is made from green heart and is capable of producing a one-of-a-kind, robust, woody, heavy-bodied spirit that no other still is able to duplicate. The blend is also augmented by other equally old rums from other estates which were all distilled and aged in oak between 1966 and 1976. Before the close of the ceremony, President Granger sealed and affixed his signature to 4 barrels of the special reserve, which will be opened in 24-1 for the celebration of the country's 75th independence anniversary celebrations. At a stunning $500,000 or US $2,500 plus VAT, this limited edition beverage in its lustrous, elegant packaging actually replaces the US $1,200 veal bun suku as the 10th most expensive alcohol beverage in the world. That has brought us to the end of this week with the President. Thank you for joining me. For regular updates on the Ministry of the Presidency, go to our website at www.motp.gov.gy, like our Facebook page, Ministry of the Presidency, and follow us on Twitter and Instagram at MOTP Guyana. Do have a safe and productive rest of the week, Guyana. Goodbye.